Hey folks, this is Charlie from WP Site. We are going to go over the WP Site Content Resharer Pro plugin today. I'm going to go through all the various options of this plugin so you know how to set it up. So let's just get right to it. Once you've actually uploaded the plugin to your WordPress, go ahead and activate it. And as soon as it's active, you'll see this tab on the left. So go ahead and click that. And we'll start the setup. As you'll see, it has 4 tabs underneath here. One is called Accounts. The next is called Global Messages. Then we have Exclude Posts, and then we have a Help tab. We're currently under Accounts, and since we are just setting this up, let's add a new account. And we're going to start with Twitter. And I'm just going to call this my test Twitter account under the account name. Now this account name can be anything you want to call it. It's really up to you. It's a good way to remember which account you've connected. So for example, if I wanted to be more specific, I could say my WP Site test Twitter account. That's probably more appropriate. And we know it's Twitter. And we know that for this account, I am going to want to share maybe once every hour. I can share almost every 15 minutes, so that's what this 0.25, which is listed in hours, references. So go ahead and just slide this to how frequently you would like to share content to this account for this particular account we're setting up, okay? So I'm going to share actually every 15 minutes, so that would be 0.25. Now that I have that, I have to go ahead and connect the account. So all these social networks, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, they all require API keys or tokens so that this plugin can talk to the social network to be able to send the content to the network. And you can click on the Help tab here, which will actually give you detailed instructions of how to get these keys. So for example, in this case, we are looking at Twitter. And to get the API key, I just literally go, I'm going to open this in a new tab. And when I go to Twitter here, you could just go to the Twitter developer page, which I have already done. And when I get there, you could create a new app. I've gone ahead and already created the new app, but there's nothing fancy about that. Just go ahead and create a new app. Once you've created the app and you go inside of it, this section right here, keys and access tokens, will give you your API key and API secret token. That's what you need. And then you have the access tokens down here. So all you need to do is go ahead and copy and paste those tokens directly into here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Don't worry, I'm not too afraid that you're going to copy my tokens. It really is meaningless. Plus, I'm going to go reset these anyway. This is just a test account. But I wanted to set it up in front of you live, just so you could see how all this works. So now that we've have this set, I'm going to go ahead and continue to the content section. And the content section, or the content tab here, basically outlines what we're sharing. So I would like to share the title of the post. I could choose excerpt, though keep in mind excerpts are usually long and Twitter has a 140 character limit. So on Twitter, these are going to get cut off unless they're shorter than 140 characters. So I actually prefer title. You can also select hashtags or no hashtags. So right now we have it set to no hashtags. But I could actually set it so that it uses the posts tags. I can actually have it set so that it uses the first category that has been assigned to the specific post. Or I can do custom hashtags where I can say, you know what, call this hashtag content and maybe awesome, right? So that's another way I can do this. But for now, I'm just going to say, you know, we don't want any hashtags. I can also use a bit.ly URL shortener. Right now, if you don't use this, it'll just use the short URL of your post. But if you want to set up bit.ly, all you need is to go get your access token and insert it right here. We're not going to use bit.ly at the moment, but you can if you'd like to. And the next option here is to include a link. So I'm going to check that because obviously we want to drive traffic back to our site, so I definitely want to include a link. So that's going to go right there. And then this option here, which says include featured image, basically means do you want to attach the image to the shared content? And we absolutely do. Images drive more traffic than views, so I suggest you keep both of these checked. Okay, now that we've gone through content, we can go through the post filters. This is where it gets really sophisticated. So we can actually tell Content Resharer Pro to only share posts that are between a certain age limit. So for example, right now by default, which I believe is, the best selection, we are going to share all posts between now, so 0, and 365 days. Keep in mind these units are in days, but I can bring that down to only share posts within this month, which will be, or within the last 30 days, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to say, you know what, since we're trying to share all of our evergreen content, let's share all of our content over the last 365 days. Okay? Or 364, no problem. Additionally, I can set the Content Resharer Pro plugin to only share posts, which is what I want right now. But if you also wanted to share pages, you absolutely could. Other post types will show up here if you have them as part of your theme. As I said, this plugin is super robust, so it picks up on all the post types. Secondly, you have categories. Right now I have it sharing across all categories. However, if you just wanted to share only the fashion category, for example, you absolutely could, and you would just deselect these. But I'm going to go ahead for this Twitter account. I want to share everything, so let's go ahead and just keep all of them checked. And there you go. Now that we've set that up, we just click Save, and Content Resharer Pro will go ahead and save that. And now you'll see my first account is here. And you'll see that the account status here shows good, which means my connection to Twitter is working. If it isn't, you'll get a message that says it is not connected and how to correct that situation. Additionally, you see the on button here, which says that this account is currently being shared. And I can turn that off by clicking here, for example. And now the account is not sharing at all. And this is useful when you want to stop sharing to a specific account, but you don't want to actually delete the account. So that's why we've created that. But I'm going to keep that on, so let's turn it right back on. And all looks good. So that's great. Everything is looking really good there. And you can see the reshare frequency. You can edit the account. You can delete the connection and reconnect if you'd like, or you can disconnect right here. We're not going to do that right now since we just set this up. And then also I can even do a quick test and say reshare now, which would actually post to my test account just so I know it's working. And as you can see, we have some great sophisticated logic here that actually shows you that after I clicked reshare now, that the action worked perfectly. In fact, if I was to go to my Twitter account and just refresh, you'll see that there you go. There's a post right now from 25 seconds ago with the image, the link, the title, everything we talked about. It's awesome. So that's great. Let's go back. And by the way, this reshare now is a great tool because it also shows you exactly the log or response that the social network sent us, and this is useful for troubleshooting. A good way to figure out whether you're connected or not. But luckily, our plugin is already sophisticated enough to know whether you're connected or not, and all you have to do is just look at the account status and then make sure that sharing is on. All right, so you know what? Let's go ahead and add another account. So now we're going to go ahead and set up another account here, and this time we will set up a Facebook account. So let's click on the Add New button here. Here we go. And I'm going to call this my Facebook user account. I will select Facebook. My reshare frequency here is, I'm going to set it to roughly an hour, so close enough right there. And since this is a user account, I'm going to select user. User just means it's an individual Facebook account as opposed to a business page, in which case you need your page ID, which is pretty easy to find. But right now, we're going to go ahead and select a user account because that's what I'm going to use. Let me show you my Facebook user page, and this is only a test page, so disregard the fact that there's nothing great on it. But as you can see, I have this test page called WP Site, and it's really just for testing purposes. What I want to be able to do is to show you guys how to go get your app ID and your app secret token. And if you click on the help page here, it'll take you over here and just click on Facebook. And we have all the instructions right here on how to go get your app ID and your app secret. So again, if you just click on help over here and then the Facebook tab, you have all the instructions already documented, but we're going to go through it in this video anyway. So as you can see, the first step here is to click on the link to get to the Facebook developer page, which will get you here. Be sure to sign in. I'm already signed in, hence you see my little icon or avatar over here. And then click on Apps. And what you want to do is click on Add a New App. Facebook will ask you what type of app you need, and we need a website app. We're going to give it a name, and now since this is for my test site, I'm just going to make it real clear that this is my test account for siteuat.com. Each domain should have its own app, so keep that in mind. Okay, and when you get to this screen, just click on Create App ID. You can actually you have to select the category. I'm just going to go ahead and say it's for entertainment purposes, and now we're going to create the app ID. All right, so now Facebook's going to ask you a bunch of questions, and if you really just scroll down, what it needs to know is what is your site URL. So in my case, I'm using this dummy site here. So I'm going to enter that URL exactly like that. You just enter the same domain URL for both of these fields here. As I said, all you do is scroll down where it says tell us about your website. You are going to enter your site URL, mobile site URL. Okay. Then Facebook will send you to the next screen, which you can just skip and scroll down. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll be finished, after which you could just click on Skip Quick Start. All right, so now that you've skipped the Quick Start, we just have to do a few things here. Nothing complicated, so just follow along. The first thing we want to do is go to Settings. And when we go to Settings, we need to make sure that under App Domains, we enter our site URL. So I just did that. Next, I need to make sure I set a email address. You definitely need the email address, otherwise it will not save the settings. So now that I've added my app domains and I've added my contact email, and disregard this email, it's a test email, no one's going to respond to you there. It already has my site URL from the previous screens. I'm going to click Save Changes. Okay, now I'm going to go up, and so those were the basic settings. Now I want to go to the advanced settings, and we're just going to select, or we're going to enter a few things here and make a few selections. So the first thing we're going to do is where it says deauthorize callback URL, you are going to just enter your site URL. There it is. Now that we've entered our site URL within the field marked deauthorize callback URL, scroll down a tad bit, and you are going to enable the option labeled embedded browser OAuth login. So go ahead and enable that. Okay, so now that we have that enabled, the next thing we need to do is right here where it says valid OAuth redirect URIs, we need to just enter our domain again. I'm going to just copy this. Again, let me show you where it is, valid OAuth redirect URIs, and just enter your URL, and that's it. That's all we need to do. Now let's click Save Changes. And then the final thing we need to do is turn this app on so that it can start talking to our website. So as you can see, when I clicked on Status and Review, and what we want to do here is go right here and just click this button to turn it on. Facebook will ask, are you sure you want to make the app public? And the answer to that is yes, so just confirm that. And now you know that your app is live. Now that it's live, we can go back to the dashboard tab here, which is this first tab, and we're going to copy this app ID, and we're going to paste it in here. Then we're going to go ahead and copy this app secret. You need to click this show button so it can show you the secret key, and you paste that in there. Perfect. Notice this access token is grayed out. That's because Facebook will automatically populate that into our plugin. Like I said, this is a sophisticated plugin. It does things the right way, so just disregard this field. Now that we've gone ahead and put in our app ID and our app secret, we can go ahead and, just like what we did for our Twitter account, select our settings. I'm going to leave our settings the same. I want the title. I'm not using bit.ly in this example, but you can if you'd like, if you have your access token. I do, of course, want to include the link in my shares, and I definitely want to include my featured images. And under post filters, I want everything pretty much from today to about a year out. So that's what these sliders here are for. Their units are in days, as we talked about earlier. And I'm gonna pretty much leave these alone as well, the post types and categories. So I'm gonna click Save now, and let's see what happens on the account. All right, so the plugin saved our settings, and notice our Facebook account is here, but I wanted to do this intentionally. Notice that it says not connected, link account. All you have to do is click that link. And now you will get this pop-up that says submit for login review, blah, 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 and just click OK. And let's set that to the public. And this way everybody can see our Facebook posts, and click OK. Okay, all right, now let's see what happens. There we go. As you can see, the connection status is good, which means we are connected to Facebook. our sharing is on, so every hour or so we will be sharing to Facebook, so that's great. So as you can see, this is quite easy. Don't let it intimidate you, but you have the instructions on the help page if you need them. So please feel free. Otherwise, you know what? I'm going to try one more thing while we're doing this. I'm going to actually do a quick test and say, hey, you know what? Let's reshare something right this instant. So there we go. You can see that our plugin is quite sophisticated. It goes and grabs the status and says, yep, we were able to do it. And now let's go ahead and check my Facebook page to see if something new was shared. So as you can see, this was the last post on my Facebook page. I'm going to refresh. And there you go. I got post number 14 with the link, just like we wanted, and the featured image. Pretty cool. Great. Okay, now that we're back, we're going to go ahead and try to set up a LinkedIn account, given that we've already set up a Twitter account, we've set up a Facebook user account. So let's go ahead and click on Add New. And I'm going to go ahead and just type in my LinkedIn test account. For the account type, I will select LinkedIn. And since for reshare frequency, since this is LinkedIn, I'm going to try not to bother my professional contacts and just post every 6 hours. Now I scroll down and I need an API key and a secret key. To do that, we can take a look at the help page. Just click here on help or click this button, which will lead you to this page, and just navigate to the LinkedIn tab and follow these instructions here. So step 1, let's go to the LinkedIn developer application page, and if we click that, we'll end up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a new application. Make sure you're already signed in. Okay, let's go ahead and start this. For the company name, for the company name, I'm just going to call this site UAT for a second, .com test. We don't need to fill in the account administrators. We only really need to focus on only the required fields, which are marked with a red star. So I'm just going to call this the Content Resharer Pro app. I'm going to give it a quick little description just because it's asking for one. The website URL is the website that we are going to be using this app for, which will be this. So as you can see, that's my website URL. You are going to put that into the website URL field. For the application use, you could really select anything you want. I'll select social aggregation just because it's fitting. Next, for the live status, you will want to turn this to live. It is not in development mode. It will require a developer email. Let me put in my dummy email here. There it is. And let me put in a dummy phone number because they require one. Perfect. Scroll down now to default scope. And this is very important. You want to be clicking all of these checkboxes, all 9 of them that are here. If there's more than 9, just click them all. Not a problem. And now we're going to enter our site URL 3 times, but we're going to follow it with an additional string. And so the field marked OAuth 2.0 redirect URLs, we're going to put in our site URL, and then we're going to follow that with a /wp-admin/admin.php. You'll notice that that's really part of your website's backend or the WordPress backend. So Again, this is the part that we're adding to your URL, wp-admin/admin.php. Copy that and insert it also into the next field and the following field. So there you go, the OAuth 2.0 redirect URLs, the OAuth 1.0 accept redirect URL, and the OAuth 1.0 cancel redirect URL. This is necessary for LinkedIn to send us back to our page as we need it. The agreement language, just leave it alone. That's fine. You could scroll down, and now you just have to agree to the terms and services of LinkedIn, which we will. And now we've completed everything we needed, so let's go ahead and click on Add Application. All right, now that we've added our application, we will sign in again to LinkedIn. Let's see if I remember my password. All right, we're signed in. Here's our app. The app was successfully created. And we are going to go ahead and copy our API key and paste it back into our plugins field here called API key. Then we're going to go ahead and get the secret key, copy that, and paste it here. All right. You won't have to put anything into this OAuth user token. That is going to be set by LinkedIn automatically. And now we have our API key and our secret key. I'm going to go ahead and leave the content the same. I'm going to include links. I'm going to include the featured image. And the post filters will grab content from the last year, from 0 days to 365 days ago. And it will fetch posts in all my categories. Okay, let's click Save. Okay, and you'll see that it says not connected, link account. Just click that button. And now you'll see that the connection is good. And there you have it. We have now tested a Twitter account, a Facebook account, and a LinkedIn account. And everything seems to be working quite well. While we're at it, let's also do a quick reshare now on the LinkedIn account, just to make sure everything is good. And the plugin says it is. Okay, let's actually check my profile here. And what we'll do is we'll just click this little arrow next to the Edit button and click on View Recent Activity to see if we've posted to my LinkedIn wall. And here you go, post 20, linked to site UAT, which is perfect. There's an excerpt, and there's a featured image. Perfect, this is excellent. All right, now that you've seen all these social networks working, you can go ahead and set up your own accounts. You've already seen how powerful Content Resharer Pro is, but it still gets better. So we've gone through the entire Accounts tab over here, and now let's go ahead and look at one of Content Resharer Pro's unique features, and that is the next tab called Global Messages. So as the name implies, these are global messages, meaning they will apply to all your reshared content. So all content that's eligible to be reshared, these specific messages or global messages will apply. Okay, so let me show you how to use these so you understand what's happening here. Now, first off, you need to know what a global message is. A global message is really a predefined message that applies to all the content that's being reshared. They're great to use because they allow you to reshare content in a more human-like manner. Because global messages apply to all your content, I recommend keeping them generic so that each is applicable regardless of what evergreen content is being shared. So we're going to go ahead and set up one or two examples. So suppose for all my content, I wanted to prefix it with a call to action. So what I could do is give it a unique name here, and I'm just going to say good article. The message text is going to be good article. And as you can see, as I type this, look at the message preview down here to see what happens. Okay, so you'll see that the message text is in red. This is showing me what the message will look like when it is reshared on the various social networks. The reshare structure is where exactly you want to position this string of text that you're adding. In this case, we have a few options that we've done some research on, and we've realized that these are the most likely scenarios, and it allows you to mix up your content resharing. So in this instance, I have my message text, which is this right here, this good article, at the front, but I could also have it in the middle of the post, in between the link. I can have it where the link is before the string, or I can have it at the very end. For my purposes, for this first example, I'm going to have it at the beginning. So there you go. You know exactly what you're going to get, and I'm going to save that. And once I save that, you'll see that that global message has been recorded, and it's here. Let's add one more. Maybe another one we can add is read this, and we'll actually say read this blog post. Maybe use a colon and a okay. So we got the colon in the space, okay. And this one I may say, you know what? Let's go ahead and you know what? I actually want an exclamation back there. Put some more emphasis on there. There you go. And I'm going to have that at the very end of my message. Keep in mind how many characters your messages are. You're supposed to keep these global messages quite short. So I'm going to save this. And now we have two global messages. And you know exactly what a global message does. They apply to all eligible posts. And we have two of them. So now let me show you something really cool. We also have another feature called custom messages. So custom messages are unique in that they are post specific. So let's go to a post. And let's go to this post number 20 here, and I'm going to edit it so you can see where these global messages and custom messages reside. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you will see the Content Resharer message pool. So essentially what we're doing here is we're creating a message pool of how this piece of content, and in this case that would be post 20, this specific piece of content, how it's going to be shared on our social networks. So as you can see, we created two global messages which are visible right here. Here's the first one, and as you see, good article, post 20 in the link. And here's the second one we created with our message text at the end, read this blog post. So by default, those global messages will apply to all our content. But what happens when we want to make our content even more unique and our sharing seem more human-like and not robotic? So we have this concept called a custom message. So what's a custom message? A custom message is post-specific, meaning it applies only to this specific article, and it gives you more control and variety. For example, you can use global messages to share a piece of content, such as this specific post, and add a few custom messages that are unique and specific to this article. These custom messages will be added into the message pool, similar to the global messages, and shared during the intervals you've set for the various social networks. The ability to have several types of messages for the same piece of content makes Content Resharer Pro the most powerful social media marketing automation plugin out there. Quite frankly, there's nothing like this out there. So let's check out what custom message does. Here it is. And I'm going to write a very custom message that says, lorem ipsum is awesome, because lorem ipsum is referenced in this article, and you know what, that's pretty unique to this article. I can even structure this specific custom message just like I did the global messages, but I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm going to go ahead and add that. I'm going to add another one, maybe put it a little differently and say, learned a lot from post 20. There you go. And so as you can see, I can add as many custom messages as I want and just click update. And once I do that, you'll notice that all my custom messages and my global messages are here. So now we have 5 messages for this specific post, and we are going to cycle through that as we share content on our social networks. So there you go. That's everything you need to know about custom messages and global messages. You can find your global messages under Content Resharer Pro, and you can find your custom messages at the bottom of the Edit Post screen. Now that we've gone through both the Accounts tab and the global messages, as well as discussed custom messages, let's go ahead and look at this tab labeled Exclude Posts. Now this is a feature that's necessary when you want to exclude a specific post. In other words, that post or article is not considered evergreen content, or it's stale, or it just doesn't fit for resharing purposes. So if you have content like that, all you really need to do is exclude a specific post. So in this case, I can exclude post number 16 and post number 19 and just click Save Changes. Very simple. And now post 16 and post 19 will not be part of the queue. If there are posts from a specific category that you'd like to exclude, simply select that category. So for example, my fashion category contains these 5 posts, and I can just choose to exclude all of them or only a few of them. Obviously, you only want to reshare content that is evergreen. You don't want to reshare content that can grow stale. So exclude whatever posts that you want, save your changes, and Content Resharer Pro will do the rest. The last tab that we'll go over for Content Resharer Pro is the Help tab. If you click on Help, you will end up at this page, and this is sort of like the documentation for the plugin, so feel free to go over the various pieces of information within the Help tab. Additionally, you'll also see instructions on how to get your API keys for the various social networks, as well as some frequently asked questions. So the documentation is all there. However, if you get stuck, please feel free to visit us on the support forum. And the support forum is right here at that URL. You can find the links even via our Code Canyon or ThemeForest page. And once you get here, feel free to log in if you're already a member, and if you're not, simply get your purchase code from Envato or Code Canyon, click on the register button, and you will get access to these private support forums, and you can ask questions and we can help you troubleshoot through any issues that you're having. We are here every day almost from 9 to 5 Eastern Standard Time, so feel free to ask questions. We'll be happy to help you.